2 Vulcans getting dropped level 1. Meanwhile, I go into something else. I decide to worm it up. Range on the Vulcan. Position them near your marksman. Throw Scorch on, because why the F not? And we're good to go. We are running full marksman Vulcan. Meanwhile, I have worms, and if I do this again, I should definitely put the worms on one side. And don't do anything different, or rather push on different sides, because they can get a tower and then start cleaning out stuff. This Rhino is going to have a very, very, very rude awakening, because that worm can do a lot of damage. I'm going into more spiders. They are the only unit that I have teched other than the Mustangs right now. And it's time to see if I can succeed. The Vulcans of Doom are here. And I have these very, very, very juicy XP bombs that they can feed off. Yeah, this Rhino ain't happening anymore. It's being cleaned up, though it still pulls my army for quite an amount of time. At the front line, there's a new spider to tank, and more mines are being thrown out. Spiders clear ever more chaff. My opponent has a metric ton of it. But he also has some very good chaff clear. Right now, these Vulcans are starting to farm the experience points. You can see the experience points rising basically the moment they start hitting Mustangs. Spider kills also contribute, but look at the XP rising right now. It's just mowing the poor Mustangs down. Next round, this is going to be twice the damage on the Vulcan. And it's not that my opponent is lacking single target damage, he just didn't have enough of it yet. The marksmen are untacked, remember. They have plain levels, but he has elite. So, Vulcan marksman, and I think I was pretty ragey right now. And why don't you get a level for basically free? Well, technically not, he had to pay for the module. But, still. This is simply disgusting. This board makes me sick. It is all that I hate about the balance of the game right now. It is so completely all the meta units. The only thing that's missing kinda is Melters. We have Stormcallers, although it's not much, I'll give you that. He could definitely pick up some more Stormcallers. He has Marksmen, he has Vulcans. You know what you could do here? Well, what you could do is... I, by the way, just went into more worms. That's basically what I did this round and level things. My opponent throws down the shield just in the same location again. Didn't seem to do any harm. On the leveled Vulcan, it can eat even more stuff. It has gotten top damage last round. Despite some carry Mustangs and really big marksmen being in existence, this thing has done top damage at level 1. So I'm pretty sure he doesn't really know what to do here. So in the end, I think he decides to just get additional Vulcans. There it is. There it is. Because why go for 2 Vulcans when you can have 4 and an attack upgrade on top of that? Just the icing on the cake. It is such a hard board to beat, in my opinion. Because the Vulcans are super effective chaff clear, and they don't get stuck on big stuff for nearly as long as it would be warranted. And even if they get stuck on something bigger, the marksman will just take it out. My worms are going in, but you can see the raw power of the elite marksmen taking them out. Though the spiders are definitely also helping. Like, the marksmen don't really have the range to stay back yet. Or they are not staying far enough back yet. Tower falls in my favor, and it's definitely helping. But this Vulcan now gets to feast on all of the very juicy units. Tower falls, and the marksman kind of just plinked down the worm. Worm is underground, but has no heal. The tarantula and the worm just get tapped away by the double marksman and 2 arclight here. And it's starting to get really bad. None of these drops are particularly in favor of me. I don't even know what drop would be particularly in favor of me. I can't really imagine any unit that does better into this. And other than maybe Stormcallers, but Stormcallers are already on the board, so they can't drop anymore. Yeah, he just throws levels down. And this is, I think, where my opponent shows, in my opinion, a very significant lack of skill. I don't want to spend too much time on recording. Maybe it is a veritable blessing that the last audio recording got lost. So I don't want to make the same mistake. But I still want to at least tell what is true. Some of these people are way beyond their MMR is way inflated and way beyond their skill. They don't know how to counter the units properly at 1.9k MMR, but they have managed to get there because they ride the meta train. And the meta train right now is disgusting. And I am definitely in favor of Vulcans getting nerfed, or at least Scorch getting nerfed with some kind of big drawback, same for Ignite. I just drop additional worms and additional attacks on worms. What does my opponent do? He goes for more Vulcans. Because we don't know how to counter worms, we just know that we can drop more Vulcans until eventually win the game. This is kinda how I imagine my opponent's brain going. I don't know what to do. What can I possibly do to make the worm go away? Add more Vulcan. It works against everything, I guess. Well, we'll see if it's going to work against this one, because the worms are going to heal now. And they aren't asking nicely for your units to go away. They are asking with a very significant amount of force for your units to go away. I'm kind of burning my own units here. Should have put this a bit more aggressively, maybe. But at the same time, I was, with the angle, able to get some of the Stormcrawlers and all of the other units here. So this one is actually looking pretty good. I have a very sizable amount of worms. And there isn't all that many marksmen left. One of them is about to leave this world just from fire alone. The worms are kind of getting blinked down under the debuff, but at the same time, once the debuff is gone, they can start dishing out damage, and my opponent simply does not have the damage per second to wipe these worms out. Look at these bad boys go. They splashed the marksman behind the Vulcan, and then it's over this round. So my opponent didn't take all that much damage, because, well, you can just add more Vulcans, and I guess you're somewhat fine. So what do we do now? Well, we hit laser sights. We put a level on a Vulcan that is with the enhancement module here. I would absolutely sell this one, because it's not necessary over here. You already have 2 Vulcans, level 2. Why would you need this here? You could just stonk this Vulcan or something else, really. I'm throwing down levels. I need these Mustangs to clear the chaff. And then we're just going for more worm. My opponent kind of thought about the board, and you know the only meta unit that is completely absent here is Melters. So how about we drop 2 level 2s, put range on them, which in my opinion doesn't make sense against worms because they're gonna get in close anyway. We do have no suck here, that is important to see. We would have EMP missiles, which could definitely do something. Like, I think every single tech except maybe energy diffraction here I would have liked to see more than range, to be honest. Let me just plop down the Melters. Because, what else is there? How could this board possibly ever lose? It's winning all my other matches. How could it possibly lose to anything, really? Well, the big boys are moving in. This side, kinda, like you can see how it goes. I'm just gonna zoom in here. Worm on burrows gets molten down. Next worm targeted, but chaff has dissipated. The next worm is being targeted, but it dives already. It is kind of like a sort of duck and roll on the part of the worms. Every time the Melters get a decent lock on, chaff is gone because the worm and the Mustangs in the rear cleared it. And then the worm just moves up and dives, and the Melter loses its focus, targets the next worm that is already on the surface. But that worm goes diving soon after, so the Melter never gets any decent amount of damage. At the end of the day, it's kind of... all of the Mustangs get torched again. There is no air units that my opponent possibly has to kill this, and there really isn't many marksmen left. The worms just swipe it down one by one, by one, by one, and they go absolutely ham on my opponent. I love seeing that. I'm sorry. If I have been in any way, shape, or form disrespectful to Mr. The name translates to Meow Meow... what was it? Meow Meow C does not move? I think that was the name, correct? Yeah, Meow Meow does not move. No, Meow Meow C does not move. I have no idea why that name is. Seems like most of the Chinese people have really weird names that are either going to have an absolutely amazing story behind it, or somebody was picking random words. Either one of that. But yeah, this is kind of like, this is the epitome of boards, I want to say. You have the metaest of meta boards here, and it gets beaten by nothing but mass worm. And I'm going to show you how easy that is to counter. I already recorded the attempt. I want to show just that attempt because I'm pretty sure it was also the very first attempt. I just need to voice it again, quote unquote. So, what we are doing is, or what I am doing is, I am picking up a completely pointless enhancement module. I am stonking off that Vulcan, realizing that I don't even have a second unit that is really worth leveling. That was a very bad move on my part. But you know, we're gonna ride this Vulcan train and we're gonna ride it until the end. I'm hitting, at this point, Sticky Oil Bomb, not Incendiary Bomb, because I messed this one up as well. So that's already 2 mistakes here. And kind of just use a 250 cost item to save 50 bucks and enhance a level 2 marksman by 20% each. So I guess that is mistake number 3. I should have put it on a high level marksman. Why was I putting it on that thing? I hit acid on the crawlers, which isn't a mistake, but I think scorpions would have just been plain better. Could also play fortress or overlord or something else into the sport. Overlord with range, staying behind the Vulcans, hopefully would do something good. But I decided to just throw down levels on these units. I decided to get marksman range because they were kind of getting splashed, and then it's just hitting all the buttons, adding more marksmen. I still have 400 bucks left over and don't really know what to do here. I'm just positioning the units. I guess it's just oil, because why not? We're completely abusing everything anyway. Throw down the oil, have some more levels to throw down. Don't really know what to do. 150 bucks left, 50 bucks in a mobile beacon. Don't get to use the mobile beacon, so that's mistake. What was it for now? And the disgusting part is that this board is still going to be in my board. I don't even know how much the crawlers are actually contributing, because they kind of die really quickly and fairly close towards me, but that is also like, you can see it on the left side now. The units are now in the acid, and the marksman should be able to plink them down somewhat decently quickly. On the right side, the battle has absolutely been won. The marksman and everything else kind of gets overwhelmed here, but at the same time, the tower is going to fall in a few seconds, and now it is really starting to hurt. They aren't really in the acid, but already you can see that damage is being done, just not a lot of damage. I really messed this up. Like, the first attempt was an absolutely bad attempt. It is still enough. Like, worms are dying one at a time, and at the end of the day, this worm is just getting destroyed by the marksman. And my board is defeated with so many mistakes and misplays on my part. This is definitely a reason to show, not re-record it like the rest of it. I was a bit too salty, I think, in the first recording attempt, but just how easy is it to counter this? How could my opponent mess this up? How could he give this game away? He was actively throwing. I definitely think that he simply is way in over his head. I can only imagine, and I am, once again, very sorry to you if I am putting whatever other amazing skills you might have. Maybe you are really, really good aggro and you decided to play a standard match or something like that. I am sorry if I am sort of trying to dismantle this, but I literally hate your board. I hate it so much. Oh, wow. All I did was throw down worms, throw down techs on worms, and simply out countering this would have been so easy. But we decide to go into melters that don't do anything really to these worms. They just dive and cycle through, and then it's game over. Anyway, thanks for watching and listening. I hope you don't meet these kinds of boards very often on the ladder, at least my opponent's board. If your opponent is playing Mass Worm, I think I will respect that. So thanks everybody for watching and listening, and until next time.